Hello, everyone. We will be starting very soon. And feel free to start posting questions. I see a few already. Okay, we are just waiting on Anna here, but she'll be on shortly.
Live?
We are live.
This is the
They
first
can't
that
see
Alex
us
is
yet.
on the set with me. I feel like it's
There
my
we go.
birthday. He never comes on set with me. He's always the man behind the camera. And like you're here, this is like, I want to get closer to you. I'm excited. Am I going to mess
Calm
up the
down.
microphone? Calm
Yes,
down.
probably.
Calm down. We haven't done Q&A in a long time, huh?
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a long time. A lot going on, as always. I'm going to keep my phone handy only because I have a couple of client sheets today and they're not close. I have to drive a little bit. So we just finished a baby lab, the fourth one. Baby lab is a membership where they pay for this membership and they come every month and they do hands-on and they work and they perfect their lighting and they did phenomenal. Julia, one of the students, flies in from Arizona. She's here you're here as often as I am in New York. She flies all the time. So whenever people are like, oh, it's too far, I wish you were in California. Then you have people fly in. Jennifer flies in from Oregon. Julia flies in from Arizona every month. And we can't even get locals to come to the lab sometimes. And then we get people from out of state. I mean, we actually have a really good group. We have like 10 people in our lab. And they've gotten to become friends. It's like this little group now. They know each other. They help each other out and perfect their things. So it's fun. We have a summer lab starting end of June. So it's if you're someone who needs to really perfect your work, I highly recommend the lab because it's hands-on. It's 4 hours. You meet good friends, and it's just a good experience. All right, so we're doing Q&A. We have some questions.
Yes. First one from Ginger.
Okay,
Hi, Anna.
hey,
I
Ginger.
love the pose on this post. I don't remember the
I
image.
do,
Yeah.
the hanging, the one that's in the graphic.
Yes. Would love some tips on poses and I think it might be a typo, and that are different we can use in home to set us apart. Oh yeah, she corrected.
Ginger is one of our associates for bookababyshoot.com. And the associates will be doing photography for me. And I mean, you could do that at home, Ginger. The pose she's talking about is babies curled up and you have the material around. So, that's on a beanbag, so you're looking down shooting it. But you could do that at home on the floor, like, on a blanket or on a bed. But that's a really good point because the idea behind bookababyshoot.com actually is for photographers to be an extension of me, right? Because I can't be everywhere, number one. So if you're watching this and you're looking for a session, whether you're at home or here in another state, we have associates from all over. And we've been working really hard on training these associates in lighting and perfecting their work and angles and being different and providing premium newborn photography because that's what it's about, right? We want to provide the very best photography we can. So in all of our trainings, I try to tell the photographers 98% accuracy, good lighting, good poses, different. Ginger, that one you could definitely do at home. It's tough because you kind of have to hold the baby and someone needs to tie the material around it at the same time. But if you don't have an assistant, you could always show parents, mom or dad, and say, I'm going to curl the baby up and hang this and do it above. I think unique poses, anything where the baby is kind of curled up and you're adding fluff or felted layers or unique wraps, I think can be unique. Because we kind of get in a little rut, right? We do the same poses over and over again, myself included. That's why I'm always adding like fluff and layers and textures because I get so bored. I know I kind of digressed a little bit, but I kind of answered the question, kind of.
That's good.
Okay.
Next one from Valerie. It says, "Hi Anna, I have a question about the swing for maternity. Do you think a waiver is a good idea? I'm trying to be safe. Also, I'm thinking of an air mattress on the floor."
Okay, good point. So a couple of things on that. I'll do in reverse order. Understand that the woman is not that high off the ground. In the photos, it looks like she's 6 feet in the air. But when you're actually doing the photos, we were doing it in Heather's in New York, and the model could actually touch the floor with her toe because we had her so low, and then we just had her kick her feet out. So, it's an illusion, and this is where training comes in, right? Is if you're not being trained in anything, the image you see is always an illusion. It's kind of like the baby hanging from the branch. It looks like a baby's hanging from the branch, or a dream catcher looks like the baby's like suspended 5 feet in the air. It's the same with the maternity. I call it the slingshot because that's what it reminds me of. It's the same with that. It looks like she's really high in the air, but she's not. In my studio, we do put them high enough where that they step on an apple box and get in, but it's still like what? Maybe 2 feet off the ground?
Probably.
Barely. So I wouldn't use an air mattress because I feel like air mattresses
They're pretty big.
Right?
Usually.
They're like 10 to 12 inches off the ground. They're much higher. So if you put an air mattress, I think that would impede on what you're trying to do. So number one, I don't think you need an air mattress, and I don't think the woman needs to be that high off the ground. She can literally be a foot off the ground, and you can achieve it safely. In addition, the material we use is very strong. We've had people, well over 200 pounds in this material, and it's not going to break. It's not that kind of material that it can just break on you. Obviously, the knots is probably what is most concerning, is because you would think, well, the material's not going to break, but if it's not knotted, it could fall, right? So you need to, that's why I don't knot, because if I knotted, she would be on the floor. I don't have that kind of strength. So did you do like 3 or 4 knots when you do this?
Well, it's tied once and then it kind of loops around.
Yeah.
So it's not really knots, but it goes back in on itself, so it self-tightens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you've got to make sure that before you put a woman in it, put a non-pregnant person in it and test it and pull on that knot and make sure that it's not slipping. Definitely want to be trained. I don't know if you did our online training. If you go to bellybabyschool.com, we have an online course for it. So many of those that are subscribed to bellybabyschool.com are already premium members and they get it included. But you should check it out if you haven't already. If you are in the group, I did put the waiver information for a client. So those who are in that course, I provided a client disclaimer and waiver that you can include your contracts. It's in our private Facebook group for that course. If you haven't attended that course, then yes, you should. I really feel like anything with pregnancy and newborn, you should have it built into your contract and have some kind of waiver. If you're in my AI chat marketing course at anabrandeducation.com, that's actually a video on contracts and releases using AI. So the video hasn't been published, but if you're in that group, you'll see that video probably either tonight or tomorrow. It's been created. I just haven't published it yet. This is the power of AI being able to create these types of things. But yeah, anytime you're dealing with pregnancy and newborn or location, always want to have some kind of waiver. I mean, I feel like you go for a massage and you sign waivers, So, do you?
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. But yes, yes is the answer to your question. Okay.
This one's probably for me. Best light stand to hold Einstein light with deep 65-inch PLM. I would say, as I usually say, a C stand. You can get them from B&H. They're very heavy, but they work really well. You can get that light in any position. Just make sure you get the one that has the arm kit. It's a little, essentially a pole that sticks out off to the side of the stand so that you can get that light in any angle that you need. You can also get wheels for them. It makes it much easier to move around because these C stands are very heavy. Okay. I'll
Just a
flip them
thought.
around for the future.
Can you add another thing in the same bottle?
Yeah.
Oh, let's do that.
Okay. Where were we?
Now all the associates are going to be like, "Can I bring my bottle back
No.
in?"
We
Julia's
need,
like,
we need a
"Where's my
new
bottle?"
we need a new press too.
I mean, what?
A new press. I keep forgetting. We need a new press for that.
Oh.
A bigger one. How do you keep positive during your
Here it
slowest
goes.
year in 15 years? I know you've been through ups and downs in the economy. This is scary stuff. And try to keep it in one sentence or less.
It's these posts that take up my whole hour.
Yeah.
These are the ones that get me deep in my core of my soul. Oh, okay.
Hold on. Did we freeze?
Did we freeze?
I think we might have frozen.
No. No, I see comment.
Yeah, but we're frozen on the screen. I don't know why.
Okay, before I answer that.
Can you guys still hear us? Okay, they can hear us, but it's frozen.
It says they're frozen?
Yeah. But I guess they were able to hear us though. So give me a second. There we go. Should
Good?
be good now. I hope.
Yeah.
Takes a second to catch up. There we are.
Okay. Should we reread the question? I'm a little nervous to answer this
Well,
question.
they should have heard it.
Okay, so the question
I don't
is,
know why my mouse is not working.
how do you stay positive during a slow time? It's your slowest time in 15 years. What's really fascinating is I belong to a lot of different groups like you guys do, and I listen to podcasts like you guys do. One of the groups that I'm in is a retail group for retail boutiques, stores, whether it's a tiny baby boutique or a big store. I'm in this particular group for the retail industry, which a lot of photographers would probably be surprised that I'm in this group, but it's because I also have a store online and I'm fascinated by how other businesses are run. If you were to ask me what my favorite show would be, it would be anything on how people do things or how businesses are run or money or financial. So the other day, this was a question in this retail group, and this woman said, "I've opened up my store and I've made like $10 and I'm freaking out. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I don't know how I'm going to pay dinner. And what do you guys do for the slow times, right?" So in a retail industry is a little bit different because the other boutique owners were like, you go live on Facebook, sell your things on Facebook, do pop-ups, do video, research, update your store, and they were kind of giving like a million different things. And in photography, so I think in the economy in general, a lot of people are like, gosh, I'm really struggling right now. But you've got to pay attention to the seasons of the year, the holidays, the events, all these things play a role besides the economy. We're in May right now, right? We're still in May. We're going into June. What's happening right now? Kids are finishing school. Some have already finished. Some are finishing up. Kids are in finals, end of the year wrap up. You have graduation coming. Kids are moving home from college. People are planning summer vacations. There's a lot going on right now. So you're getting ready to enter a slow phase. The end of June, so if you think it's slow now, it's going to get slower. So I'm preparing you. The end of June is one of the slowest times of the year. I know this because I remember July 4th weekend. End of June, early July is the slowest time of the year, bar none, every year since I started. I know this because I pay attention to the ups and downs, because years ago I didn't. And so years ago I thought it was me. Like the phone would not ring as much and there wouldn't be as much babies, and I would be like, oh my God, I must suck. Or I would be like, I wonder if someone posted like a really bad review about me and all of a sudden like the world hates me and they're not coming to me. I mean, you name it, I've thought of it. Like something happened somewhere and all of a sudden like I'm going to lose all my business. And then I started paying attention and realized that in a year, the quietest times are beginning of January and end of June, early July. Those are also some of the slowest baby birth times of the year. And it's interesting because we have baby cycles. So like October and November are the biggest baby birth months of the year, followed by February and March. My first pregnancy test, I remember, was Valentine's Day, and I had Evan in October, and my daughters were born in March and April. So I have 3 kids born on the busiest months of the year. And there are not as many babies born end of June, early July. And if you think back why, and it's 6 months, go back 3 months, that's October. Because we're very busy in October and November. It's not a big conception time. Why? What's happening end of October, early November? Halloween and Thanksgiving. You're in the crux of holiday events with school, holiday events in the world. You're stressed. You're trying to prepare for Christmas. So October, November is not a big conception month, which means June and July is not a big baby month. It happens, but not as much. What are people doing in January and February? Having babies, getting pregnant, because those babies come October and November. So I've just learned, just through the cycles of life and just the way things go, when the popular baby months of the year are. By knowing this information, I know end of June, early July is going to be quiet. We're in between Mother's and Father's Day, and unfortunately, to the dads everywhere, Father's Day is not that big of a deal as Mother's Day is. I don't know why. It is still a big deal, but people make more of a bigger deal about Mother's Day and the hype of Mother's Day, and I feel like Father's Day is not so much because it falls along the times of graduation, end of year, start of summer school. People are trying to prepare for camps, there's summer vacations. There's a lot going on. What I've learned to do during those times is that's where I plan some of my trips. That's where I plan, some of vacations. That's where I plan to kind of pull back a little bit and work on things. I release Christmas in July, so July gets very busy around for us. July and August, we use a lot of prep for the fall, and then when September goes, it's the end of the year. So I kind of relish in this time. I got a list a mile long of all the things that I want to do. So how you stay positive is that. You say, now is the time. Now is the time to get everything in order. What do I mean by that? Well, do you have a CRM? Do you have a client, relationship management program that where all of your clients and everything is in there and ready to go? Have you synchronized and set up all your different social media pages and make sure that those are the way they're supposed to be doing? Now is a great time to learn a new craft, learn a new idea. You think AI is taking things by storm? Wait, just wait. This is only the beginning. AI, as far as marketing, graphics, content creation, newsletters, mailing lists, promos, it's going to get even more intense as the year goes. So if you're not kind of understanding what AI can do for you, for the power from a graphic standpoint, as well as ChatGPT, now's the time to learn. Take a course, practice your skills, update your website, just get ready. Now is the time. Marketers in the retail industry, this is when they're buying for the fall season right now. They're already prepping for, the fall season and Christmas and everything. That's what's happening. I know because I kind of get these emails from the retail industry. So that's how you stay positive, is you kind of got to look at it as, okay, no one's calling me. I got to get to work and do things. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, well, Anna, I need money. I need to pay the bills and I need to do something. So, okay, I get it, but put your creative hat on. What can you do for summer promos that you can sell now? So, summer beach is coming up. We're entering into the longest days of the year, right? July, August, September. You're going to have the longest days of the year as far as sunset. Now is a great time to plan for beach sessions, location sessions. Ava, my daughter, told me just this past hour, I was driving her home and she says, Mama, this summer is going to be super blooms. And I said, oh, I didn't hear that. And she said, yes, because of all the rain in California they're talking about. I thought we've already experienced it. And she said this summer they were talking in school how there's going to be super blooms and it's going to our earth is just going to populate with all these amazing plants that have been prepping to explode this summer and fall. So I was like, oh, that's fascinating. I was literally in a car ride just now. I'm like, oh, I got to do a little research on that because that gives me ideas for maybe some summer locations or some places to go and shoot. Why not fly somewhere and plan to do some shoots somewhere else? Mermaid season is coming up for those outside. There's so many things you can do underwater. So I would say how you stay positive is it's time to learn a new skill. learn a new skill, do a shoot and prep it for the summer. So meaning, let's say you want to do mermaids or underwater or beach or family or hills or hiking or whatever, do a model call now, get some models, go find a spot, shoot it, and make a promo so that people can plan for it for the summer. That's what I would do to stay positive. I mean, I feel like I always have ideas and I don't have enough downtime to implement all of those ideas. So, you know how when you're so busy you can't do anything? Fill in the list. I can't clean my house. I can't organize. I can't sell stuff that I want to get rid of. Have a garage sale. Empty your house. There's so many things that you can do to make money. I need to have like a webinar of 555,000 things you can do to make money because I know how to do it. I know how to make money. And there's so many things you can be doing. And that's kind of how you stay positive. I mean, I could talk about this topic for days.
I can see that.
It's a hot topic with me because I hear it all the time. And because your mind wants to go into depression and your mind wants to go, things suck. Things aren't good right now. I'm worried. I'm stressed with money. No one's calling me. I must not be good. There's so much competition. And that's the easy part. That's almost too easy to do it. I have to tell myself every single day, okay, I have so much I want to do. I have to write things down, plan it, prepare it, that I don't allow myself to go in that deep, dark place. And I can go there if I really wanted to, because life can get overwhelming. And I had this conversation with Ava the other day. She's like, Mom, I get sad sometimes. I go, me too. It's a lot of frustrating things in the world that can really just bring you down. And so you kind of feel it, think it, and then go, all right, like shake yourself out of it. What can I do right now? What can I do that's going to lift me up? My daughter, Olivia, came home from college on Mother's Day, and she ended up packing all her art supplies and coming home. She's done with school this week, but she's not coming home for like a month. And I said, oh, how come you're not coming home? And she's like, you know what, Mom? I just want to enjoy living in Santa Barbara. So I'm going to pack up my art supplies, and I'm going to ride my bike, and I'm going to paint, and I'm going to go to the beach. She says, because all I've done is work and go to school, and I haven't enjoyed just being in Santa Barbara away. She has this apartment that we paid for another month. And I was like, that's a good idea. And part of me was like, oh, you got to rush home. You're done with school. And when she said, Mom, I'm not coming home for a month, first I took a step back. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. And then she's like, because I want to paint and draw and go sit on the beach. And I was like, I think that's a fantastic idea. And she sent me a painting that she did just in a few days of being home. I posted on my Ana Brandt personal. And that's what I try to tell my children is, when you're in that deep, dark place, or when you're feeling a little funky or you're depressed, go do something. Go take a walk on the beach. Go donate your time. Ava donates her time to children with special needs at the Huntington Beach Riding Center, where she rides, that I used to do. Go offer your services to someone, or just get out there and get out of your own space. And then what it'll do is it'll free your brain to start being more creative and doing kind of the work that you're supposed to be doing. I digress. I'm really sorry, but that's like a hot topic. And a lot of people are dealing with that right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Noreen asks, can we please get an outdoor editing video?
Oh, did you email me that? I have an online PS course. I'm a little behind. I have 2 videos to post. And I feel like someone emailed me that, and I couldn't find the email, and I thought I dreamt it. And I was like, I think someone asked me for outdoor editing, and I didn't know if it was one of my students in my Photoshop course at Belly Baby School. So did you email me that? And if you did and I didn't email you back, I'm sorry, or did I dream it? So then my second question to her is, are you in my Photoshop course in Belly Baby School?
It's Noreen.
Yeah, I know who it is. But did she email me that?
She has not responded yet.
I can't see this screen. So, and then is she in that course? Those are 2 things I want to know.
Okay, I'll see if she responds.
Okay, and then if not, yes, I will. I will. Although I don't, to be honest with you, when you see the video, you might be disappointed because I don't do that much to my outdoor editing work. But I have 2 outdoor sessions today, so I can easily do some videos on it. I do, well, I can't say that. I just posted, well, because I just did a bunch of edits for the Brooklyn Bridge.
Is it a yes or a no?
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. Well, because I did a bunch of fun edits for the Brooklyn Bridge, and people are asking me how I did those edits, and those were using AI skies. And then I was like, oh, I should. And it was sunrise in Brooklyn Bridge, but what you don't know in the Brooklyn Bridge is it was super cloudy. Ooh, I can do this now. And so I used AI skies through the Photoshop Sky tool and made my Brooklyn Bridge images look amazing.
Okay, you can say that in the video.
I'll do a video. Okay.
Next
I can't even read
question.
your screen because I'm so blind.
tips for shooting in-home family unwrapped for the first time.
Why does it have to be unwrapped?
I don't know. That's what Emma asked.
Emma, is it Emma?
Mm-hmm.
I just told her she was asking me questions. I'm like, Emma, I have to go live. I can't talk to you right now. You know, just I actually think when I'm doing family, okay, when a baby is awake, I tend to do family. It's the easiest thing to do when baby is awake, because when you're trying to pose baby by themselves and they're awake, they're everywhere, right? They're moving everywhere. So a lot of times when I'm doing a newborn shoot, whether I'm in a home or a studio and baby's really awake, I'll say to parents, let's just go into family, because they can kind of hold them nice and tight. And I feel like they calm down in the parents' hands, and then they're just kind of awake. So you can put baby naked awake. I'd probably have dad hold baby more than mom if you're doing family.
Two things. Noreen responded, yes, it's me. Yes, and I did. And Emma also responded saying, Mom doesn't want wrapped.
Oh, okay. So Noreen, I'm so sorry. I literally thought I dreamt that. And then I can never find my emails because I get too many of them. And I try to flag them and go back and it was gone. So yes, to Noreen. Okay, so then if mom doesn't want baby wrapped, that's fine. Just keep it nice and warm. I would say dad holds better, because if they're awake, sometimes they tend to want to just nurse on mom or latch on mom. So then I'll just kind of have dad hold them, and I would say, how would you hold them at home? And if I usually say that, then dad would be like, oh, this is how I hold them when they're awake and they're calm. Because sometimes I feel like when you're posing baby, you know, when you're posing baby with family and you feel like no matter what you're doing, the baby's just fighting you. They're over it. So then sometimes I'll just be like, hands off. Dad, or mom, how would you hold baby if you were home? And they'd go, oh, this is how I would do it. And if you tell them to do that, usually it's a position that baby's comfortable with, and babies just start settling. So that's what I would do. And you could also get parents nice and cozy on the sofa. Because just pretend like, okay, this is what I would say if I was at someone's home. Mom and dad, just curl up on the sofa, get comfortable, and just pretend I'm not even here. How would you hold baby? You could even leave the room. And then you kind of get that natural lifestyle look. And then it's like, oh, yeah, I want to capture that. And then it makes it a little bit easier. I don't think I ever hit the button to push on the air fryer to cook the chicken for my lunch. Julia. Can you just look at the air fryer? Is it cooking? Because I don't smell the chicken. And you don't know? So there's a poultry button. You just push it. I put chicken in for the air fryer.
Hit the power button first, and then the chicken button, the drumstick.
I'm not.
And then the play button, which is start.
I realized I'm not smelling my lunch. And since I didn't have time to get food, I'm like, why am I not smelling the chicken? Because I said to myself, I'm going to smell the chicken during our live, and I'm going to be thinking about it, and I don't have time to eat before I go to my shoot, and I haven't eaten yet. So she's going to cook the chicken.
How much gear and how many set changes should you bring to an in-home newborn family shoot?
Are these all my associates asking these questions?
This is Jane Druth.
Oh, okay. She's not my associate. I'm like, these all sound like book a baby shoot associate questions. I have to work on my training. Okay, no, this is not. All right, here we go.
Lighting always seems to be a challenge for me in home. And for my next shoot, I'd like to bring my B10. Yeah, totally bring it.
Yeah. Okay, so in our associate program, we tell our photographers, bring light, because for years, oh God, you guys have been shooting in homes for over 20 years, and I have had my fair share of no light in a client's home. And clients, I love you, and you say you have light, and then we get there and you don't have any light. There's light, and then there's light. There's light that you have in your home, and then there's light that a photographer needs, and it's very different. So that's why I love Pro Photo, not to plug Pro Photo, one of our sponsors, but I like it because it's cordless, and you can just throw it in the car and in a backpack and take it with you to a client's home. Now, we were doing a client shoot in LA last month or a month or two ago, and we were in a nursery. We had to take out the Peloton. Did we take something else out besides the Peloton? I think the Peloton is what we took out to put the light in.
I think it's just that, yeah.
So it was a nursery, and there was no room, guys. There was the crib, the recliner, the changing table, the area rug. Imagine the area rug is the same size as the crib, and then a Peloton, and that was it. And so what we did was the Peloton went out, and we put the 65-inch shoot-through umbrella and the Profoto right where the Peloton was. And then we had about 3/4 of that rug to shoot in. And I did the entire newborn shoot there. It was about an hour and a half. And because I had Alex with me, he set the TV up in the front room to show the images, which was wonderful because mom and grandma's were in the front living room. The other mom was at work. And so that way they could see the images on the TV screen and they didn't have to come in the nursery. Mom kind of came and peeked in the nursery from time to time to just check on things, obviously. And mind you, I had an assistant. We actually had two because we had two associates there, and Alex and me and the baby. And the whole shoot was probably done in what? Maybe a 3x4 space of the area, right?
The shooting area probably.
Yeah. And that was it. And so I used, I shot on the floor, blankets, of course, and I brought a bed and a bowl and a heart bowl, and that was it. So no beanbag, nothing. And we have beautiful images. Actually, if you go to I believe I posted his images on the Facebook Book a Baby Shoot page, facebook.com/Book a Baby Shoot, and he had beautiful images. So I don't think you need to bring a lot, but lighting is key. If I'm going to compromise on anything in a newborn home shoot, I'd rather bring the lighting and work on a teeny tiny space because you don't need that much space.
That is all the questions we have so far.
Okay, perfect. So should I talk about some of the questions that people send me all the time while we're waiting on that?
Sure.
Okay, so I get questions every single day, all day, in many different forms and methods. And as I'm talking, you're welcome to post additional questions. I'd say the question I get every single day is, how do you get started in newborn photography? That's a very common question. People are like, I don't know where to start. And then another question that I get is, I'm 50, 60, 65, 70. Am I too old? Is it too late? And can I just jump in and go? And so there's so many different markets. There's, young people that are late, teens, early 20s, or, trying to learn photography. There's those in their 20s to early 30s, starting a family, maybe out of school, wanting to jump in. And then there's those that are kind of in the heart of it. And then there are those that are finished their complete career and they're kind of going into it, another job. What's great about this job is I don't think age matters, honestly. I think that you could be 14 and you could be 65 and everything in between, and you could have an amazing career. I think the biggest thing is people struggle with physical issues, whether they aren't comfortable squatting or bending, or they have knee issues, back issues, or shoulder issues. And I always say that, number one, if you're going to get started in newborn photography, like any genre, know your camera first, whatever camera that is. And then, of course, I always get the question, what camera to buy? We could talk about that in a minute. But it's whatever camera you're using, learn how to use it, because I'll get people in workshops all the time and they won't know how to use their camera. And I'll maybe say, set your white balance this way or do this way, and they don't know how to do it. And I get it because I was the same way. So you definitely want to take kind of a course or a basic, like how to use your camera or watch a video or whatever, number one. Number two, decide what lighting you want to use, whether it's studio light or natural light, and learn how to use it. So if you're going to say, well, I'm going to just shoot natural light, then you got to watch some videos, take some courses, and figure out how to master that lighting. And if you say studio, same. Whatever you're doing, I think you need to master that component before you go on to the next. Because people say, well, I want to do newborn photography or children's photography, and I don't know where to start. And I'm always like, well, number one, start with your tool. What tool are you using? You need to learn how to use that tool. Then number two, what is your lighting method? Whether it's natural light or studio light, then you have to learn that. Then number three, you need to learn your subject, right? How to pose, how to wrap, and whatever. But that three shouldn't come first. Learning your subject is the third one. If you don't know how to use your tools, you can learn your subject all the day long, but you won't be able to shoot them. What were you going to say?
There's questions though.
Okay,
So
that was it.
okay.
I mean, I could go on and on, but yeah.
This one's probably for me again. Is there a tutorial how to set up a stream to the TV as you show in every video? Would love to stream also.
That's all on you.
I've been actually thinking about doing it too.
You really
Yeah.
should, because it's like the number one question we get.
Yeah, it's
Not
gonna.
just to the TV, to the iPad, to the whatever.
Yeah, like we've sort of done one on YouTube for how to stream to the or how to
Shoot
tether to the iPad. To the TV, it's a little. It's similar, but just it takes a couple extra steps. And it's gonna vary from camera to camera. That's kind of what's holding us back on doing it, just because I can really only show you on how to do it with a Canon camera. So if you don't have a Canon camera, it may not be as applicable. I can show you most of the steps, but you'll have to do your own research on how to do it with a Nikon or a Sony or something else.
I mean, do you want to go one step further and bring in those cameras and do a
Buy new
full
cameras?
on? No, Julia's here. She's Nikon,
Yeah,
but we
can't do it
could
today.
always do it the next time we have a photographer. We have
workshop.
photographers in here every week with the Sony, Canon, Sony,
Yeah.
Nikon, Fuji. Maybe the next time we do a workshop or something, we say to the students, like, Julia can stay afterwards, pick a couple people and say, let's do a little mini tutorial with 3 or 4 cameras. I mean, that's on you, not on me.
Yeah, I have to
I think it would
figure
be
out how to do it on those
so
first.
beneficial
Yeah.
in your
We
spare
can start
time.
with just the Canon one, because I can do that myself. And then I'll have to research on how to do it with Nikon and Sony.
Okay.
Ginger says she loves your positive outlook.
Aww,
Emma,
thank you.
how do you respond if parent is worried about baby being wrapped, even after explaining they were in the womb, etc.?
Yeah. Okay, a couple of things. That's very common among all parents, especially when the parents come in and they say, my baby hates being wrapped. I'm sure they do, is usually what I say. You always, anytime anybody has a concern about anything, and this goes in photography and in life, I think you always address that concern. I understand you have that concern. I get it. I completely empathize with you. Now, let me just explain why I do what I do. It's the same with lighting. I get questions every day. Does the flash hurt a baby's eyes? Does the light hurt a baby's eyes? Is my baby going to go blind? Is the hips going to hurt or become disrupted if you wrap too tight? Are they breathing? I mean, understand that as long as I've been doing this, I still get brand new clients come in with brand new babies. So it's new to them. They have no idea. So they can walk in here, and I can be doing this for 100 years. They're still walking in with their brand new baby and they're first-time parents. So they're going to be like, wait a minute, we are told not to wrap the baby that way. And so I always say, number one, we don't wrap this baby the way at home, right? At home, you do swaddle with the arms down, but you swaddle with the legs out because babies are growing every day. Those legs are growing and stretching. And so in the home, when they're swaddling, they're trained to wrap the legs straight and out because baby is growing and they're swaddled like 20 hours a day, and you don't want to stunt their growth, okay? In newborn photography, what I let moms and dads know is I'm going to wrap them up in more of a womb-like fashion because the baby's only been out of the womb 8 days, 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, or whatever, and this is going to be very comfortable for them. There's no pressure on the hips. We're not wrapping close on the neck, so we're going to make sure breathing is nice and clear, and we're going to wrap across the chest. Understand that I'm going to do this for the sole purpose of keeping the baby calm and getting them and the baby to sleep. Once they are calm and asleep, I can immediately unwrap them. They will not be in this wrap forever. And also sometimes dads will come up and be like, oh my God, that's a great wrap. You have to show me wrapping instructions. And I'll say, well, I don't really want to because I don't want you wrapping this way at home. So if a mom comes in and says, my baby hates being wrapped or I don't like wrapped, what I will say is, okay, I understand. And I completely empathize with that. But however, the best way that I know how to get this baby comfortable is I'm going to do a wrap. So if you're okay with that, I'm going to do a wrap, and I think you'll see that the baby's going to be very comfortable. I just need to do one set wrapped because they're wide awake and I want them to get into a beautiful sleep. And then I can unwrap them and I can do the rest of the session unwrapped if you'd like. What usually happens 99% of the time is once they see me wrap the baby and the baby gets calm, they usually look and go, maybe we're not wrapping the right way at home, because the baby usually hates being wrapped at home and they bust out of every wrap I do. And we just thought the baby likes sleeping with their arms straight out. And so that's what we do. But we can see that you've calmed the baby and the baby is nice and sleepy. So maybe we should rethink that at home. And so I usually say, again, don't wrap the legs up like that at home, wrap out. But yes, you want to kind of get the sleep sack. I definitely promote the weighted sleep sack. I don't wish I knew the name. I want to say it's Dreamland sleep sack. It's a weighted sleep sack. If you Google weighted sleep sack as seen on Shark Tank, I think it's called Dreamland or something. And it's an amazing weighted swaddle that's, approved and tested out there in the world. And I usually recommend that wrap if parents say they have a hard time keeping a baby swaddled. Understand that you are the authority. They're paying you, hopefully, for the session. So if somebody is paying you for a service, you are deemed the authority in that position, because that's why they're coming to you with their baby. And so talking with confidence, reassuring, empathizing are all super important things to do with the parents. You never want to downplay it or ignore them or disregard them, because at the end of the day, their job as parents is to care for this human being, and that's a very important job. I smell my chicken. I'll be eating it in the car on the way, but...
Ginger asks, Alex, is there a big difference between the Mark 4 and 5? I don't believe there's a Mark 5. Do you mean a different camera? Is it worth the upgrade? And so why use back button focus if not why? I'm not sure which is the second camera you're referring to, because I believe there's only one. There's a 5D Mark IV, but they never released a 5D Mark V. Maybe you mean the R5? And
maybe R5.
That's most likely it. There probably would be a big difference, mostly in terms of probably focusing. Image quality probably went up a bit. Wait, Sony Mark 3 and 4? Okay. I'm not familiar with the Sonys, so I'm not sure. I'd have to look. You'd have to just check what got upgraded between one and the other, and see if it's worth the upgrade or not. Usually one step up, not often worth it. But it could be. You'd have to... Oh, Mark 3 and Mark 4. Between Mark 3 and Mark 4, yes. I feel like they vastly improved the focusing on the Mark 4 compared to the 3, especially in live view. It was just in live view on the Mark 3 was very, very slow in focusing. On the Mark 4, they added the touchscreen, and so it definitely improved. As far as back button focusing... it's preference. I think for most people, I wouldn't recommend it, because a lot of people don't hold that button the entire time. And so if you're not holding the back button the entire time, it's essentially always going to be single shot focus. And so what happens a lot, at least during workshops, is people focus, but they don't take the shot right away. So they'll be kind of hovering around, and by the time they take the shot, it's out of focus. So it's better to hold and have it on continuous focus, so that it'll track as you're moving around. But otherwise, I'd say most people probably shouldn't use it, because they're not using it right. The touchscreen is definitely worth it, because you can, on live view, just tap on a screen where you want to focus and you're set. Okay. Next question.
So we have like 5 more minutes.
Okay. Someone's asking, I really struggle with angles for macro shots. Any tips, and what is the best lens to use, please? I researched a good lens for macros and bought a Sigma 105 millimeter, and now think I may have made a mistake.
why do you think you made a mistake is my first question. And are you talking about macros with newborns? So when I started, I was on the 50 like everybody, because that's what we do. We're taught macro 50 millimeter, and that's the way to do it. And I actually really was into macro photography for a long time. I would photograph flowers and toes and everything. And then I went and got the 24 to 70. And once I got the 24 to 70 USM 2 lens from Canon, I kind of put my 50 millimeter collected dust. Then I bought the Sigma 35 art lens that I really loved because for home sessions, I was able to get beautiful bokeh and 1.8 and great detail, and I loved my Sigma lens. The problem I had with my Sigma and any fixed lens is the limitations. It's in many sessions I'm doing family and then children and then toes, and I don't have time to switch lenses. And I feel like if I'm just doing baby and I'm just focusing on baby, yeah, the fixed lenses come in handy. Obviously, we love fixed lenses because they're so sharp and we get the wide open apertures. I just use a 24 to 70 now, and I get toes and fingers and eyelashes and all kinds of great, beautiful detail, and I don't have any problem with it. I do like having a range. I still like my Sigma. I just don't really use it that much anymore because I'm too lazy to switch lenses because I shoot really, really, really fast. And I feel like many times I'm doing 2 newborns a day and I don't have time. So, I always tell my son to test lenses before he buys them. So I think with you, if you were, rather than making a purchase, I would rather ask you to just test, get a 50, get a 35, get a 24 to 70, bring out your 105, bring in a subject, and just test and do what feels most comfortable to you.
Okay. That's it. No more questions. Yeah.
Okay, good. So we're going to kind of wrap it up. If you have a last minute question, feel free to post. What happens? Does this stay on the replay? Because then we
Yes.
get the evening crowd.
Yeah, it'll be available on YouTube to rewatch at any time. Almost
So if
immediately
they have a
after
question, will we see it?
Yeah, so
Because
just
the trick is right now it's like a busy time of the day, right? But then people are going to start going home and we start going in the evening and more questions may come.
yeah, so this chat that you're in right now during the live stream will probably disappear. I think it should stay, but it might disappear. So any future messages, just type in as a normal comment in the video.
Okay. Any other something?
No,
Okay,
just people
okay.
saying, I love my 35, love my 24-70. With the 105, I wanted something I could use for general portraits as well as newborns. Yeah, I mean, you can use it like that. It's probably still a very good lens, but yeah, you're just limited because you're stuck at one focal length.
Okay, so just some housekeeping notes, whether you're watching this now or on the replay. We do have a photographers Facebook group that some of you are in. So the group is under, if you go to facebook.com/groups, it's /TAOPAN, or you can just go to anabrandteducation.com or anabrandonline.com, and there's links to our Facebook group. Feel free to post questions in there. We have over 32,000 photographers in there. And sometimes if you post a question, I'm unavailable, there's always a photographer up all different countries, hours of the night to kind of answer your questions. Workshops, you can just go to anabrandteducation.com and see my entire workshop schedule for the year, as well as what we've listed for 2024. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter so you get notified of events like this and lives. We are going to be live on YouTube next Thursday with twins. There are 12-day twins that I'm going to be photographing next Thursday at 9 a.m. We're going to do a live broadcast worldwide. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you're notified. Because if you don't subscribe, you're not notified. So people will say, oh, I missed the stream, I missed the live, I missed this, I missed that. But we try to give you as many ways so you don't miss it. The best way to not miss anything is subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just click subscribe. That way you'll be notified. We're not going to spam you on YouTube. You'll just get notified when we're live, number one. We always record, but you never know. 2 workshops. People always say, I didn't know you were going to here. AnaBrandtEducation.com and subscribe to the newsletter, and then you'll get notified. I announced yesterday a mini maternity, no, I didn't, mini mentoring Like, no, I didn't. Mini mentoring sessions, which are one-to-one, me and you. And they're 4-hour mini mentoring sessions. And we've never done anything like this before. We've had a huge response to it. What's good about these sessions is you choose what you want to learn. So like yesterday I did a one-to-one rapping where all we did was rapping. Julia, who's sitting here with us, was like, you got to focus on lighting. I said yes. So if you're struggling with lighting, it could be business, could be pricing, could be your website, could be marketing, could be Christmas, maternity, whatever. You choose the subject. There is a coupon code out there that expires this evening. The code is mentor me, and it saves $75 off
Caps.
of no caps. I don't know.
I feel like your store automatically caps them.
Okay, so maybe caps. It's
Maybe.
working.
Try both.
Mentor Me takes $75 off your mini mentoring sessions. Instead of $500, it's only $425. Some people are buying them for next year. Some people are buying 2 of them and saving them. People are asking where they can do them. Of course, California, anytime. And then New York, when I'm there, we can add it on. Someone right now is trying to do one when I'm in Miami. Another one's trying to do it when I'm in India. So I tell people, just take a look at my schedule. And if I'm going to be in a particular location and I can tack on an extra 4 hours for mini mentoring, like I know in Miami, I have a gap between my clinic and going to the beach. So someone's like, can I jump in a mini mentoring in between? Sure, why not? What else am I going to do? And so what's great about that is people really want to learn one-to-one. So you can snag one, and then I'll be scheduling with everybody just one-on-one. We'll fit it in. We'll make it happen. But that code does end tonight. We're not extending that code because that would be silly, right?
Yes, it would.
It would be silly.
I'm gonna go and delete it myself.
Yeah, he will too. Another code that's still active, I was telling Julia today, I didn't even know it was still active, and I went to check for her, and it is, because we have retreats next year for Greece. We're going to Greece next year as a retreat. We have a retreat in Dubai next year, and there's a California retreat. So the 2024 retreats or workshops, there's a 50% off code for 2024, and that's a very big deal, guys. So if you're thinking of doing anything in 2024, the code is 2024, and it's 50% off only, and it's purposely set that way, things next year. So if you're thinking about doing Greece, Dubai, California, the academies next year, I think one of the academies may even sold out next year. Anything that you see on the 2024 schedule, that code will also come down probably tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, because we have to catch a flight tomorrow night to Salt Flats, because we're going to shoot in Utah. We have a clinic in Utah and a club in Utah, and then we're shooting at the Salt Flats on Tuesday. I'm teaching Monday, and then Salt Flats Tuesday. So Sunday morning, I'll be kind of going through scheduling my one-to-ones and cleaning up the codes. So if you're thinking about doing any of those things, you should take advantage of it now, because then we're going to just try to get rid of those codes so we can start focusing on next year's planning. So
Just a couple more questions.
okay, I'll do them really quick, and then I really got to go.
One's for me. Ginger asking best place to upgrade to to get a Canon 5D Mark IV. Ginger, I would not recommend upgrading to the Mark IV. Just go to mirrorless. At this point, the Mark IV is very old, and might as well just go to mirrorless. It doesn't mean you have to change the lens too, though. But there's none of the camera manufacturers are making mirror cameras anymore, so there's no point in upgrading to one of those. At this point, just go mirrorless. And then someone asks, would you mentor to Cali residents? It's okay.
I do every day.
It's okay if not.
All day. How often
Just
do we
moved
have?
to South Orange County from New York City and wondering.
Okay. Yes, is the answer. The short answer. Yeah, we laugh because every day we have a photographer in here from California. I mentor my next door neighbor. Literally, there's a photographer like a block away that I've mentored. I don't have restrictions. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. We have a huge network of photographer trainers that I trained. Half the photographers this morning were like, one of them said she was like 15 minutes away from me. So welcome to SoCal. If you look on my website's page, I have
Yes, she said, yeah, some photographers won't. We know that.
We know.
And it's stupid.
I don't have any competition clause.
They're just scared because they know they're not good photographers.
I didn't say that, but I'm just saying, I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I can't even wrap my head around it. I don't know why. Ooh, here's an idea. Let's train everybody around us so we level it up. And we're all so amazing and our prices are all on point that no one will look for cheap photographers because we're all the same level. What about that? Isn't that a good idea? Right? Right, Julia? That's the thing that people don't understand is if we train our neighbors and train everybody around us and we're all at this level and we're top-notch, good, rocking it. We have the prices that we want. We're earning money for our family. No one will go around and look for cheap photographers because there won't be any.
You gotta go. Okay. Ginger, the mirrorless all have the same features as that Mark IV have, even better. So just go mirrorless. Okay. That's all.
That's it. I got to go. I have a session at 3:30 in San Juan Capistrano, so I got to jump in my car and go and eat my chicken on the way. Thank you so much for being a part of our Q&A. We promise to do more of them. We do have another podcast dropping tomorrow, right? We dropped a podcast. We're going to do Wednesday and Sunday. We dropped one Wednesday on the power of AI. Definitely need to listen to it. Go to iTunes and subscribe there as well because you can hear all kinds of amazing, valuable advice. And tomorrow's podcast is on, getting out of the house.
Yeah.
It's called Getting Out of the House.
Kicking the butt.
Yeah. So I hope you have a good day. Enjoy the beautiful weather.
Please subscribe. Please share. Please like this video right now. If you're still here, hit the like button, please. Leave a comment afterwards too, saying how much you liked it and future questions maybe.
Yeah, so we can do more because if no one likes or subscribes, what's our motive to do more? Right?
And help us get our subscriber count up. We've been struggling, but we're getting there. We're trying to focus more on YouTube.
We're going to be more consistent and post more.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming.